Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci.
Behold his mighty hand.
Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang.
Just want to manage expectations.
Moo! Nah!
This is the worst. What up, homie?
What is up, homie? What a great intro, Niall Scala. Thank you very much.
It's fun. It will be evolving. An evolving intro.
Incredible, man. I'm ready to get nuts tonight.
Thursday Night Live, Billy.
Thursday Night Live with Bill.
Thursday Night Live.
Yeah, I'm ready to get crazy tonight. We got a great show ahead of us. Ladies and gentlemen out there, I want to thank you all to the second installment of Thursday Night Live with Billy Tucci. Always with me is my compadre in crime, Mr. Niall Scala. Hello.
Hello.
And well, we have three guests tonight. Two of which are old pals of the show. One of which right now we'd like to introduce to you because she is, I guess she's our guest co-host, right?
Well, she's permanent. She doesn't know it yet.
We're going to keep reeling Rini. We need Rini. Everyone loves Rini. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one, the only, the fiendishly talented Irene Strikalski.
Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hello.
Working hard, Rini, or what?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't work so hard. I can't even speak.
And next we have the man, the myth, the legend, the American Eagle himself, fighting the con crud, and back to his old, handsome, chiseled self, the one, the only, Mr. Graham Nolan.
I have landed.
The eagle has landed. I love it.
I have gotten rid of Dracula Eye, and now the con crud is on its way out as well.
Oh, excellent,
man, dude. We're gonna get into this con crud story, but I am so excited to introduce our special guest tonight. Someone who, when last week when we were live on the Thursday Night Live with Billy Tucci, me and Rini, and Niall, of course, and Michael Bancroft were going through his interview with the president, I guess, of Crowdfunder. And we got so pissed off. Right? It was just an angry show. But we were watching him, and then after in the after show, right, we kept stopping it and just getting angry and stuff. But he really took him to task.
Rini got really angry.
What?
Rini got really angry. He was fired up.
Bro, we were supposed to promote a book.
Yep. And but after the after show is usually more fun than the regular show. Niall and I are talking like, this guy's fantastic. We got to be friends with this guy. We got to hang out with him. So I texted Chris and I asked him if he'd come on to Thursday Night Live with Billy Tucci, and of course he was over the moon for it, as you would be. But Chris,
as you would be.
Who's not over the moon when they get asked by Billy Tucci?
That's right. Who could be over the moon? And thank you for saying that, because it reminds me of this. And why not?
Oh, he's got the buttons.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You did it, Greg. Now, but guys, everyone out there, incredible crowdfunder himself, and not just an investigative journalist, all around badass U.S. Navy veteran. Thank you for your service, brother. Guys, Mr. Chris Brawley. What's up?
Man, I haven't been introduced like that since I was born.
Wow.
Thanks, Billy the Touch, Tucci, Graham the Man, Nolan. This is quite an honor for me. Thanks, guys.
What is up, brother?
Awesome to have you here, Chris.
I've been watching this show for a while. I didn't, as soon as Billy invited me, I was flattered. I literally was flattered. Michael Bancroft told me that you guys were going to go through it last week. Michael is, what a hero. So this is sort of the legion of rebel heroes here tonight. I'm honored.
Well,
we're happy to have you.
The honors is all ours. And again, I mean, the fight you've been fighting, with your latest campaign that you run, if we could just let me share it real quick. I keep calling it present, but this is the campaign that will not go down without a fight. But Michael, you and Mike Barron and teams, Private American, man.
Yeah. This thing has gotten hell from the very beginning, and Mike knew it was going to be, a bit of a bomb throw when he wrote it. But it was a natural idea. Mike is a huge fan of movies like Death Wish and all those vigilante films, and this one to me kind of reminded me of the last Rambo movie, and
the one where he goes to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this guy he's an ex Green Beret, and he lives in South Texas, and somebody close to him gets killed by one of the cartels, and the government's not doing anything. And he says, you know what, I'm going to take what I've been trained to do, and I'm going to stop him myself. And he goes at it, and the government tries to stop him, and the cartels try to stop him. And it's just a smash him up, explosive vigilante story. And Mike, the first idea, he called it Private American because he wanted it to kind of be like Captain America. Like, what if the Punisher was down on the border? I mean, it just kind of wrote itself. And then it just got bigger and bigger. It wound up being a 73-page story. So you get 80 pages with this book.
And isn't our protagonist either Hispanic or Black?
He's Cuban American. He's Cuban.
Oh,
yeah,
Cuban.
I love the idea that
Right,
this racist comic, and you look at the lead.
So as soon as we came out with it, a couple of weeks into the campaign, Twitter canceled us, and then Dan Lawless, Dan the Man, tells us that Indiegogo is shadow banning us. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, let's go ahead and pull the trigger on a Kickstarter campaign. And in case Kickstarter gives us any gruff, let's try out this little startup in Canada called Crowdfunder, no E, and much like Grindr.
You mean no T?
Yeah, low T, no E.
Low T.
But it was just a backup because they had a plan. The way that was set up, you could actually do it where there's no fees other than the credit card transaction. So, like Indiegogo and Kickstarter charge 5% plus your 3% credit card fees. These guys would allow the backer to pay the fee, and the backer would know it. It wasn't like you were sneaking it in like an Indiegogo tip or something. And so then Kickstarter, just before I got started, I recommend every crowdfunder have their own domain for their project. And this one is theprivateamerican.com. So we can point that to wherever. We had a early sign up page. So we own the domain and there's something hosted there, but right now it's pointing to Indiegogo. Well, when me and Mike first started working together, we started back on Florida Man years ago. He's just a fan of Bleeding Fool. And one day he showed me the cover art. And I said, man, what's the deal with this? And Dark Horse wasn't going to pick it up. Eventually, American Mythology did. But that was after we ran a successful crowdfund campaign. And Mike, he asked me if I would run the campaign when I suggested he do it. He just didn't. His wife had run some campaigns on Kickstarter, but they just never really did well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So back then, I got Google alerts for Mike Barron. I wanted to know when Mike Barron hit the news, right? So luckily, I did that, and this insane social justice warrior wrote this article for the Daily Cause. So the next morning, I get a notification that Mike Barron had supposedly written another racist AF comic book. And
yeah, that's what they called it, right? And isn't that what they say, that Mike Barron has once again written another racist?
Once again, yes.
What do they mean once again? What else has he written?
Let me just
it's
get this out of the
absurd.
way. Let me get this out of the way. Mike Barron is not racist. He's conservative. But he's married to a woman of another race. She's beautiful. His wife is.
Yeah.
And Mike's not
They're
racist.
deeply in love.
He is. They're crazy about each other. She's the best thing that's ever happened to him. But that's wife Ann. Shout out to her. But Mike had written Thin Blue Line. Thin Blue Line was his previous book, which was basically two cops working in a liberally run city. So you got a progressive mayor who's sort of placating the Antifa upstarts, and suddenly the city starts to burn. It's a huge riot, and they are forced to protect the mayor. And you sort of go through this 48 hours with these cops and what they have to deal with. But this writer for the Daily Cause wrote that Thin Blue Line was about white supremacist cops going into black neighborhoods and killing people on a killing spree. Right. I mean, obviously they had not read the book, right? And I thought to myself, who on earth would even conceive of such a story? Certainly not Mike Barron. But at the end of the article, and of course they called this book, Private American, stochastic terrorism, that we're obviously going to kill and slaughter all the people coming across the border, which on page 1 or page 2, actually, spoiler alert, he's saving a woman who is about to be raped by a cartel member or by a coyote that's expecting payment for getting her across the border. And then he just sort of points to where they need to go for safety. So he empathizes with them, but he's trying to stop the fentanyl and the gun running and everything else that's coming across.
And the illegal crossings.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it gets all into that. But, that's another third rail. Dealing with cops in Thin Blue Line, that was a third rail. We actually had comic publishers call it copaganda.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was some of them was like, all cops are bastards. I couldn't believe the emails that we got back. And we kind of toyed with the idea of just exposing who these publishers were.
Yeah, I wish you did, because I remember Mike was sharing that, and he's such a gentleman.
Yeah, well, honestly, to me, I'm small potatoes. That you guys are, you have built a legacy. You guys are legacy creators. You built a name for yourself. I mean, Mike talks to Steranko, for God's sake. You know what I mean? I mean, these are names that are going to outlive your life, right? Your work's going to outlive you. And I thought to myself, man, I don't want to burn any bridges for Mike Barron. I don't want me to come in and just start burning bridges, right? So we kind of kept that to ourselves, although we did share redacted versions of those emails just to back it up. But Newsarama and those guys still to this day say that it never happened. I guess because that feeds
those guys are pussies.
Yeah, exactly. And I also wonder what the hell is the deal with the where's the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund?
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys something. We reached out and spoke to the director several times. And as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to give you my opinion, that guy did nothing for us. He kept saying that he did.
Who is that, Chris? What is his name?
Jeff Trexler.
Okay. So he's okay. It's good that people know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into this thinking, you guys have got a reputation for only helping progressive causes, progressive creators. I said it really would go a long way if you guys would go to bat for Mike Barron. I mean, he's got a name for himself. He's an Eisner Award-winning writer for comics. He wrote The Punisher. He wrote The Flash. He wrote Star Wars. I mean, this guy's got a history, and he's conservative, and he's not ashamed about being a conservative libertarian. And, the guy gave us a lot of advice. I will say that we did have some back and forth. But every time I asked him, when can we say that you guys are helping, giving us some counsel or any kind of support? Are you going to write a blog post about it or anything?
Yeah.
They didn't do it. And, they wrote plenty of blog posts about, the banning gay books from libraries or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I contribute to a book where it's all about censorship and that you have the Liberty with the man, with her mouth covered, what I mean, sort of thing. They were all championing, freedom of expression and stuff like that, and books that may not go along the mainstream. And
Well, and this is big tech censorship. And, I reached out to him when Indiegogo was shadow banning us. This was before Kickstarter. So when I took it to him, it was the Twitter, who, by the way, Twitter let us out of the permanent suspension gulag like 2 days ago. All of a sudden, I couldn't tell you why, but it's PVT American is the Twitter handle. But so he was on board and he started giving us some advice. He actually connected us with, or he suggested I connect with thefire.org, who did an incredible write-up about it. And he did mention Ron Coleman. And I know that he had reached out to Ron Coleman, but it felt like Jeff was dragging his feet so much that I said, well, I'm going to just reach out. I reached out to, once the Daily Cause article came and Kickstarter suspended us and then Crowdfunder suspended us, I started getting on the horns with any attorneys that had made a name for themselves in First Amendment, free speech, censorship in that field. And one of the first ones I reached out to, I can't remember his name right now. I could look it up, but who cares? It's the attorney that worked for Nick Sandman, who was one of the students in Washington, D.C. with the hat on, and you had the Native American whatever. And CNN and everybody smeared that kid. And he got a huge settlement for that. Well, I reached out to him, and he gave me some pretty good advice, but he didn't feel like there was enough for the case to go all the way. I reached out to a couple of others, but one that I was really keen on was Ron Coleman. I've followed Ron Coleman on Twitter for a while. He's definitely on our side of the fence, and he's all about free speech and censorship. And he really took a shine to the case. And we're still sort of in the investigative part of it. He's really trying to figure out which way he wants to take the case, but he's got all the information. We have retained him, and he's a heavy hitter. So we're very excited about that. Well, I reached out to Ron, and we got a call from him, and he was like, yeah, let's get on a Zoom call. We did a Zoom, me and Mike and Ron. And then the next day I let Comic Book Legal Defense Fund know. I was keeping him in the loop on everything, all my emails back and forth. And he said, oh, yeah. I reached out to Ron Coleman for you. And I said, really? I said, well, he didn't mention that. It was just that kind of thing. Like he would kind of take credit for stuff that was working out, but it never would back. I never got any backup to that. So finally, when Ron said he could do the case and said, okay, now here's what the retainer is, yada, yada, yada. I reached out to Jeff and I said, are you guys going to help us out with this? Help us out with this retainer? And he said, no, we're not going to be able to help out. I'm like, okay, well, could you tell me what you did do for us? And he said, well, listen, we did this, this, and this. If you want to sit and talk about it, we can book a phone call. I said, let's book it. Me and you and Mike. He never did. We never heard from him again.
Nah.
But they stand up for basically comics if the censorship, quote unquote, because I don't think saying you shouldn't show porn to kids is censorship, but that's a whole other discussion. That they will fight for. But if it doesn't align with their politics and they don't care, they're not acting on principle. Even if you guys are clearly being slandered as if there's something racial about your comics when there isn't. It seems like in Private American, it's blatantly obvious that the main character, not only is he a minority, he's saving people. He's saving the immigrants, whether they're legal or not, coming across the border.
Right.
It seems like a pretty noble cause, and most Americans would agree with that, but they don't care about that.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the narrative they're trying to put out there. You know,
and even now isn't the president also, not the president, but several Democrats are joining Republicans calling for military intervention.
Yeah,
along our southern border. Just real quick, Chris, we got a super chat. Thank you, General Piggy, $4.99. Bravo to you, Sir Chris, for taking Crowdfunder to task.
Yeah,
well done from all of us, and I'd like to get into that.
Oh gosh, that was so well done.
You were just
that was great.
And
when we finally got, I got to give credit to Pops of Madness, Comics Madness. He hammered Crowdfunder over and over because he's a big fan of Mike Barron. And when we reported that Crowdfunder had canceled us, and I will say this about them. It's cut off in that first video. There's 2 videos, actually. I've recorded both meetings. I was recording all the meetings just to make sure that our attorney could see, you know, what this guy said. I don't want to put words in the guy's mouth, and I'm not going to sit and take notes about what he's saying. I wanted it right out of his mouth. And I run a video production company. So, I mean, that is my main business. Comic books is not my main business. So I was able to get that, you know, recorded. And I'm a journalist. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if you say something shitty and we've set up this, you know, video recording meeting, I might put it out there for the greater good. And I think that this was for the greater good. But I will say this about Crowdfunder. Once you hit we did a little $500 goal because, you know, the algorithms, you guys know. It's not your first rodeo. So once you hit that goal, Stripe starts giving you daily, you know, payments. He couldn't have stopped that, but we were able to get all the money, and we were able to get the couple of dozen backers that we got over there. We got all their data, so we're just including it with our fulfillment. But Pops had bugged the guy so much that, and he started bugging me, Pops was. I was like, we don't give a shit about Crowdfunder. We already got the money. We already got the information. We're moving on. They are small potatoes. And the only reason that we set up that campaign was just in case Indiegogo pulled the rug out from under us, right? But, you know, once Indiegogo gives you that first check or that first deposit, they're not gonna shut you down. They can't do that. I mean, that would really screw up Indiegogo, right?
Oh yeah.
So you just got to get through that campaign. I almost recommend if you go back to Indiegogo, maybe you do a 1-day campaign with $1 goal, and then they can't stop you, right? But all that aside,
Richard Meyer did that.
I know, right? Yeah, with the
he did $1. It wasn't 1 day, but it was
$1 books or something. Yeah, it was super cheap.
Oh yeah, that was different.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, he's succeeded well enough. He can do those experiments, but I'm a little, you know, reluctant to do that. I want to make as much money for Mike as possible, and I get a little percentage of the kitty, so I don't want to mess that up either. But
well, you're growing your empire, my friend.
The empire.
It's balance, you know, whether we like it or not. You don't go down the primrose path of self-destruction that we've seen far too many go down in the past couple of years.
No, that's good. That's wisdom right there. That's truth, Billy.
Absolutely.
Finally, Pops wore me out, and I said, okay, I'm going to just, because the guy was saying that I had never reached out to them. And in fact, I'd reached out to him 3 times. My first email was 20 minutes after we got notified that the campaign was suspended. The next email was an hour later when I said, look, here is, and I didn't do this for anybody else, but I sent them a PDF, a low resolution PDF of the black and white lettered version of the book. Because we get the lettering and the coloring done at separate times in case I decide to artist edition. You know? And I sent that. She didn't respond. And then 2 days later, this is 2 days before Christmas, the 23rd, I sent one last email. I said, are you guys not even going to let me appeal this decision and give me some kind of clue as to why you did this? This was an approved campaign. No response. So I just screenshotted those to this guy. I guess it was around Valentine's Day, close to about that week. And he said, well, that was wrong that she did that. Let's set up, here's my scheduler, some sort of online scheduler, and we'll do a Zoom call. And I thought, okay, yeah, we'll do a Zoom call and I'll find out what the deal is. He seemed kind of reasonable at first, and you guys have seen the video.
Yeah, and you got to give him props for coming on with you. You know, because Kickstarter does it, or Indiegogo, or Facebook. I got banned on Facebook. I'm now restricted, my account, and I can't even challenge it. They just said, boom, you're restricted for 90 days.
Yes, yeah, Mike. That happens to Mike all the time for some stuff he posts. You know, it happens, and it's just this big monolith, right? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
Well,
they figured out that a good tactic is just ignoring you, which is what Indiegogo has been doing. And then you can't say, well, we're being unjustly shadow banned or it's some kind of political persecution or whatever, because they're just ignoring you. And they figured that out. Right. And so I suppose props to the crowdfunding guy, what was his name, David, for coming on the call and saying something. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he still gave in to there is somebody going around to all these crowdfunding platforms talking about it. There absolutely has to be, because there's no way Indiegogo and Kickstarter would pay attention to drama in the comic sphere if there wasn't somebody going to them and saying Comicsgate is bad for biz, these people are all racist and whatever. Right. And what was very striking to me about the conversation with David was, I think you seem to be explaining things to him, and he clearly understood after a while that Comicsgate is about anti-wokeness, it's about freedom of speech, it's about breaking away from the mainstream, and it's not a racist hate group or whatever. And he still caved in. And it seems pretty obvious that they're not afraid of us. They're afraid of the activists.
Yeah.
And
the mob,
so everything that's going on is out of fear of the activists. They're afraid of the mob, and they're catering to the people who are actually in power. They don't care about us. We are the underdogs here. So props to him for coming on the call, but he was still a coward.
Yeah, but
all these platforms
are.
Exactly.
Words of iron, right there.
Yep. Well done. Well said, Rini. Well said. And he even agreed with you that no, Mike Barron is not a racist.
Right.
I agree. But because you associate with people who are. Well, what about people associated with Eddie Berganza when he was their editor and he's like sexually attacking?
Does that mean every DC creator is not allowed? Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Because like one person at DC or Marvel was a sexual creep, or so everybody who works there is you're a sexual predatory group. All of you hate women. Like that's how they're framing our movement.
And what is wrong with the mainstream comics industry where you're expected to sign a document that says you won't rape women? I mean, how bad is it over there?
Dude, how fucked up
you have to sign this. I mean, I thought it was just understood. I don't rape anybody. Men.
Exactly.
And what kind of
you would think so?
What kind of a cuck do you have to be to sign that?
And then boast.
Male feminists.
Yeah. If somebody brought that piece of paper to me, I'd throw it in their throat. You know, get the fuck out.
Get that out of here.
Get that out of here. I pledge not to rape.
I got 3 daughters.
Yeah. I got 1, but it still counts, right? At the end of the day, it's just wrong, period. That's like saying, I will not steal. I will not swipe art from other people.
Right.
I mean, come on, just do the right thing. That's all. And if somebody does the wrong thing, bust them. But that's just a distraction. Here's what I think. I think it's a combination of him being prideful, right? Because he's trying to promote transparency. Yeah. So he's like, okay, I'll get on and talk to this guy and I'll set him straight. Here's how it is. And I don't think he expected, and I'm probably not the best spokesperson for Comicsgate, but I understand the movement. I'm part of it. I've reported on it for years and it makes sense. Right. And this guy, I don't think this guy was prepared for that. And so that's why he didn't acquiesce, but he did concede a lot of my points. Mm-hmm. And I think it was important to get that on the record, whether he wanted it on the record or not, because what it showed us is whether it's ESG funding, whether it's his hardcore progressive beliefs or his hardcore progressive beholden board, or whether the decision wasn't even in his hands. He conceded that this isn't fair. You guys, you're not bad. Mike's not bad, but unfortunately, no Comicsgate on our website. That's just sort of where it's come down. And I guarantee you, I saw Meyer had posted a tweet from Joe Glass just the other day, and Joe Glass is really hoping he gets that job at Kickstarter. And if that's the culture, I guarantee you that he's perfect for Kickstarter. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he is. I mean, it goes without saying. He's probably perfect for crowdfunding.
He's perfect for DC Comics. Yeah. He's perfect for Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
Who is that? I don't even know who that is.
All the spineless corporations he would.
He's a writer for Bleeding Cool, not to be confused with Bleeding Fool. And he's an independent comics creator who focuses on gay heroes.
Yeah. He's uber gay.
Oh, he's as flamboyant and out there as it gets.
Being gay and being an ass are his only personality traits.
Those are his defining traits.
And those aren't, they can be independent of each other. I promise.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. Well, Kickstarter's been good, for us. It's been really good for us. I never had problems with them. I wasn't around when John Malin, when they fucked John Malin up with Richard C. Meyer, with a couple of the others. And I know all those people are gone now.
Yeah.
They're gone. That whole culture has changed within that corporation, I believe, from my experience. But it's also that you could tell that they're not anti-CG unless no one's gotten to them yet, because look at all the fake campaigns, CG campaigns that are out there. There was a Wraith of God one, I think, from Aaron Lopresti. That was fake. There was one for Ethan. There was a Cyber Frog campaign up that somebody else put up and said he was Ethan Van Sciver. Someone said they were Aaron Lopresti. So, and they were up. They were live. Those campaigns were live. Thank God they were able to get him, taken down because they were just, scams. But
yeah, Kickstarter is weird. I know, they've done some weird things in the past, and it's been a while. But at this point,
like 4-5 years now, right? I mean,
I think with the whole thing going on in Indiegogo, Kickstarter and Crowdfunder, of course, and like nobody wants to go to Zoop. Maybe Kickstarter is a good fallback, but really, what we need to do is find another solution. We're just not there yet. But I mean, if someone else can come up with it.
I know fundmycomic.com is in beta right now, and I have a lot of admiration for the guy that started it, Luke Stone. I've covered his work for a while. And he seems like a genuine article, and he seems honest. I mean, the guy used to be a pastor, and he's a creator himself. So he's the ideal candidate for it. But I know they still got a few bugs and kinks that they're working out on the site. But if you want to get in on the ground level, particularly – I'm thinking about it just to kind of give the guy a little bit of a signal. He really needs creators more than creators need Fund My Comic, Kickstarter, on the other hand, I mean, if it's really Kickstarter or Indiegogo, right? And if you've used both, believe me, Indiegogo's got the better back end for creators, getting the data, getting it sorted. If there's one thing I hate about Kickstarter, it's the fact that I have to get everybody to fill out a survey to give me their shipping address. Nobody wants to fill out a survey, right?
Yes.
If anything, Kickstarter ought to make it where it says, hey, they need your shipping address if you want your stuff. If you just said that, click here, and then if I needed to get your size or what variant cover or whatever, you'd fill it out right then. I kind of liked what BackerKit was doing when they handled it. I think I did something with Mark Silvestri. The last thing I backed on Kickstarter was something from Mark, one of his Cyberforce things. And I did, I think that was the last thing I did over there.
Yeah.
And BackerKit handles it.
Yeah.
But the thing with BackerKit is they're starting to do their own crowdfunding, and now they're kind of acting like Zoop, where they want to invite creators on. One of the first people they invited on was Iron Circus Comics, and that's as far afield from where our project is. I just thought, well, if that's who you're inviting, then I know what kind of party this is.
Okay. Well, now Scal and I might have
we might have a little something in the works. I think this is a good time to bring it up.
I think it is.
Yes.
So, Bob Gable, thank you again, as always. Is your local town council corrupt? Yes, mine is. I think most would say yes. 100%.
100%.
Thank you for that $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Well, Scala, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, Graham actually knows this, but for those of you that don't know, this is a good time to kind of bring it up. But for those that may remember, when Billy and I started this channel, it was called Crowdfunding Comics. Well, we've owned the IP, we own the name, and we've been playing with it for a few years, and we were like, why don't we start a crowdfunding comics website, since we already own Crowdfunding Comics? So we have been in development for the past 8 months now. 8-9 months, getting everything together, getting the engineering team together. Right now we're working on the financial arm of it, and hopefully we have a meeting next week. Hopefully we can lock down the final part, and we will bring. Will bring in the crowdfunding site where everyone can just do what they want to do. No one's there's no gatekeeping. We're not going to out. We'll fight the protesters. We're not going to deal with it. Cause it's a business. It's a business. We're just giving you, here's the podium, sell your stuff. We're stepping back. This is for you. Anyone can use it. And that's what we have in development. And there's some amazing features that no one's offering that we are. Let me just put it this way. Any aspiring creators out there, there's a lot to it. You got to pay money to have a website. You have to pay for every little thing. Well, we're going to give it all to you.
Oh,
you're literally have your own website basically on the crowdfunding site.
Oh yeah. So we may or may not have a meeting with maybe the person that owns the biggest comic book distribution network in the world.
This is news, man. This is huge.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really impressive.
And may or may not be very a very good ally to
making moves
and independent creators the world over.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Breaking
That's
news.
awesome.
You heard it
Breaking
here,
news.
folks.
You heard it here. And
Right
we-
here.
And I've
Niall and I would be just perfect for that job.
and just so you know, where crowdfunder has failed is I know a lot about them. I know a lot about all the crowdfunding sites now from doing my research, consulting with people, former employees, this and that, everything to get every nut and bolt perfect. And they all try to reach out to big names in crowdfunding, and they've been shot down. I have not been shot down. So if we can get this to launch, we're going to be launching with some of the biggest names crowdfunding out there, supporting this site and getting campaigns. It may not be their biggest campaigns, but they're going to start throwing stuff on there. So hopefully, like I said, everything works out and we can bring the platform that everyone
I want to be a
wants and
plank
deserves.
owner.
There you
Yes,
go.
there
Yeah.
you go, Graham.
To the
Founding
Navy guy,
member.
Chris.
A plank owner?
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
you're a Navy man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I
You
was
know what a
CB.
plank owner is.
Yeah, I know exactly what. Well, I was a CB, so we didn't actually get out on the boats, but yeah, I do know what it is. Yeah,
That's
we
cool,
went in
man.
with the Army and built the airstrips and whatnot. This is big news, Billy at Nile. This
Well,
is
let's
huge.
see. Let's
Well,
not,
We will keep you in the loop,
Okay.
Chris.
Yeah,
After our
100%.
next meeting, if everything goes as planned, then we will keep you in the loop
Okay.
and we can start spreading the word. But we're
You-
working on it.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantees right now. We don't know if it's
Sure.
going to happen.
Let me ask a probing question. If everything goes as planned, Lord willing, what is your ETA on a formal announcement? Estimated.
If
So
everything
this
goes-
isn't a
When will you
formal
let Chris
announcement
know?
yet.
Once all the paperwork is signed, then we will start hammering the media.
Yeah, and the
Okay,
engine-
right. So
And if all goes as planned, my engineering team that I have developed, let's see, we're pushed back a little bit just because schedules for meetings. But if all goes as planned, I could have beta up and running by July and being live by September.
holy crap.
Oh yeah, that
Maybe
is
we
awesome.
throw Florida Man 2 up there.
Or whatever you want out there, anyone.
Florida Man 1 up there and just
Yeah, right.
we're
Well,
off
we
for
just
the
got
day.
the inks back on Florida Man 2, so I'm
Off
pretty pumped.
Florida
about it.
Man.
Yeah,
But
Florida-
again, I am just going to put out there.
Exclusive edition.
I am going to put out there for the listeners, and the word will spread around that we're still working on it.
Yeah.
We're not set in stone yet.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot. Like
It's
I've
a
been
lot of work,
talking
and it
to,
is a lot of money.
Like, yeah.
It's
Like
the
how
funding
Shane
right
and
It's
yeah,
the funding
yeah,
right
just
now.
the funding, but you need an ongoing team and ongoing IT support. You need security. You need to have a payment processor. I mean, I've been talking to Shane about what he's been doing for Inglorious Rex, and it's work, and it's not something just anybody can do. So it's really impressive. I know what has I'm not surprised it took you 8 months, but thank you guys for doing that, because I know this is something that we've been needing, but it takes a lot of specialization and connections to actually make it happen. So you're a hero, man.
And we'd like to devote it to make it very comic book centric and comics, comic properties, toys,
Right.
everything that's a
So
deal with
not packing new vacuums and motorcycles.
yeah.
and shit.
Right.
I mean, we're a business.
But
we're
I
business
had a
with
vacuum
growth.
idea.
We call it
I mean,
Dang
right
it.
down to we're going to give everyone everything. Like, there's literally resources. So anyone that's afraid they can't do it, I'm giving you everything. We're going to have printers registered. We're going to have branding companies. You want to make toys. We're going to get all these companies, all their info on there. Just one-stop shop, everything you need. I don't want to give everything out.
Sure.
I'm not going to give all the details away, but
That's right.
it's
So you're tying
pretty
in like
intense.
production recommendations
It's
and the
comic book
entire
focused.
pipeline.
right. So it's
Right,
crowdfunding
right.
comics. It's comic book focused, but obviously, can a crowdfunding site solely survive on comics? No. But think of a comic shop. It could be called, Graham's Comic Shop, but Graham sells toys, comic books, games, action figures, other merchandise. So anything in the realm
Canoe
of like
plushies.
Canoe
Yeah,
plushies,
yeah.
anything in that realm. You're not going to see big tech or anything like that in there. We're not going to have that stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
Man,
Unless
that
it's
would be
comic
so
book related.
awesome. To be tied into, I
Then
don't
we'll
know if
have
you're looking into like
Crowdfundicon.
Crowdfundicon, yeah.
There you
You're gonna
go.
be tied
Next
into
step.
like printers who are willing to work with us, and like factories who are willing to work with us, and so it's going to. I don't know if that's what it's going to be, but that would be great if we could have that,
There you
because
go.
we need
Pop
to know
culture
that
platform.
you're working with people who won't cancel you. Basically, what we're aiming for is being uncancelable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got another super chat, if I can, right now by James Lee, my buddy. He's James is an Army guy. Thank you for your service, pal. Thank you for the $5 super chat, too. Really appreciate it. Had fun last night, Billy. Don't forget, the Steins Rise of the Vampires is still live on Indiegogo, so back it tonight, all. I backed it today. It's a great-looking project, man. Everyone check it out. James, if you want to put your there you go. Thank you, Eric, for putting James's link in there for everyone to do. Check it out, guys. Thank you so much, pal, for doing that, too, for giving us a super chat. Nice. But I think now, we'll wait till Graham gets back because, we want to get positive with this and make it a source of good. There's so much negativity, it seems, with crowdfunding, which is, from these various platforms by these shrieking shrews that are going in there just trying to destroy everything. When this is supposed to be, and it is, I feel that with crowdfunding today and with the internet, this is a new golden age of creator-owned comics. There's never been this many creator-owned books out there by people doing this. Great big names and small. You've got someone like Ethan Van Sciver doing $1 million on a campaign. You've got Brian Polito doing $500,000 on 5 campaigns a year. Yeah, via Kickstarter. But then you got smaller ones, like people look at Mandy Summers. No one knew who really Mandy Summers was 2-3 years ago. She was a watching mother. Our streams. She was a mother and she's coming on next week on Thursday Night Live with Billy Tucci and Niles Scala. But Mandy had this story it was almost like a Princess Bride story that she always would tell her daughter. And then she's like, I'm going to make this into a comic book. She had no idea how to make a comic book. She liked comic books. And then she just started doing research. And then she just started hanging out in the chats, right? And then she was so fun and had this great personality and all. And then she just started coming on the shows. And now look at her. She's a friggin' rock star. Mm-hmm. So this is an amazing platform.
I mean, if you look at the industry, right, comics in general and a lot of pop culture in general, I mean, it at the end of the day, I think Rini, you were saying there's got to be someone above that's saying something that's striking fear into these companies and whatnot. And what it really is, it's just corporate political takeover. It's not even necessarily the artists, but people are trying to pay their bills and whatnot. So they're gonna try to please the master. And that's where, Billy, this is the golden age right now. Crowdfunding. It's a whole new era of comics. And that's where we got to all come together and just show that there's great product being produced to mute those voices.
Yeah. What's happening is when crowdfunding first started, people were hesitant because you're having to entrust your money into somebody and you're hoping that you're going to get that product down the road. And then, there were times where stuff didn't get fulfilled or it was late and people forget about it. And then all of a sudden their credit card bills come, so I understand that, but we have gone past that Rubicon now. Yeah. And, people have backed this stuff and they've gotten their products and they're starting to feel much more comfortable with the process of crowdfunding, which is fantastic because that's the key, is getting the masses comfortable with the idea of crowdfunding and getting behind creators and independence, knowing that that's an investment and that investment is going to pay off for them in the end.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right, Graham. I think the fact that you're sort of prepaying, whether it's pulled off the account right away or whether it's pulled off at the end of the campaign or whatever, that's a bit of a barrier to entry for some people, right? Particularly if you've never done crowdfunding. And then on top of that, you've got guys like B. Claymore or Donnie Cates who haven't delivered something. They're 2 years late, right? Yeah. So that burns a bridge because it might be like, oh man, I backed that Donnie Cates book. I still haven't gotten it. I'm not going to get this Two-Fisted Tales, or I'm not going to order.
Oh, look at this.
Look at all these full sales books. And hold on.
Chris, you broke up a little bit there. What did you just say? What?
Manling Tales.
I'm just showing it off. Wait a second.
Oh my God. Look at the size of that sheet book.
Man, it's so girthy.
It is. Good workout. I mean, literally, you could do a good workout with some of these books. Yeah. And what I mean is what's great about this is these are getting delivered, which is why I love Michael Bancroft's cgnow.net, which anytime somebody says, oh, you mean they got rid of Comicsgate who never deliver or whatever, I said, tell me you've never heard of cgnow.net without telling me. You can go get 80 plus books from Comicsgate right now. Like you order it and it's turned around. And like when people order Thin Blue Line nowadays, we just sold another hardcover today. It goes out in 2 days. Right. So I think one idea, Niall, if I could just submit just an idea for your website. And this is not something that
please do. Yeah,
please
do.
Please. But I think that if you're late on a campaign, maybe you can be rated as a crowdfunder. Like, in other words, if you hit
already got it.
I love it.
So there's ratings and reviews, but you have to be a backer. So then again, though, you know, someone that you don't want coming into your little network there, you know, they could back a $10 tier or whatever, and then they do have the ability to comment. But you, as the the campaign owner of it, or whatever, I don't even know, I can't even talk. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? You can go through comments and edit as needed.
Sure. Well, I think it's important because I think it will motivate the campaigner to do their best, to hit their goals, and to update regularly, right? And to deal with communications with the backers. I think that's something that's gotten lost with some of these other people who are super late, and probably a few people in CG that I can't, even Ethan was super late. How long ago did I back his Rainbow Brute? But it's good to see him making progress. So if he's doing these updates, I think that should go a long way too. Like if you just go dark, maybe you shouldn't have a high rating on that crowdfund platform.
The rating comes from, honestly, it's going to come from the backers, and if they're happy and they have to receive the book in order to get the rating. If someone's late, then there's going to be flags internally on the back end. We have to have flags of monitoring campaigns that haven't been fulfilled, based on a certain time frame, because you're going to want to monitor that, because the backlash is going to go to them and then it's going to go to the platform,
right?
And then that may be where we intervene and say, hey, what's going on? You haven't really updated your backers in a long time. But again, legally, there's a discrepancy when you're doing all that stuff, because at the end of the day, we're not responsible for the creator and their book. But at the same token, we do want to nudge and be like, hey, what's going on? Because I've got Kickstarters that are literally going on 5 years now.
Oh my gosh.
5 years.
Yeah, Richard, when we had him on from Bleeding Cool, Rich Johnston, and he said, well, we noticed that you have, he's basically saying we have a lot of CG people on, and I noticed you're not having certain people, and he's giving us names like, well, how come you haven't had this person on? I'm like, I pledged for that person's Kickstarter 6 years ago, and he's yet to deliver it. Do you want me to have him on the show? Because
that's the reason we don't have him on.
And I like how the narrative is Comicsgate is always late, but look at that. Exactly. They're all these people who they're in the mainstream and their Kickstarter books just never fulfilled, but we're the ones who never deliver. So we have to push back against that. I like that you have that whole
it's important because
you got to remember,
you got to deliver, but then it can be good, right? Is it good or not? Sort of that's all the mainstream publishers have to worry about is either A, is it good, or B, will all the show websites give it a very high rating? Yeah, no matter how it comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in comparison to it's for CG creators, it's an easier target because the circle is this big, right? For CG creators, or then you start going to Kickstarter and these other platforms. I mean, you're dealing with a circle that's this big. So seeing those late campaigns don't get noticed as much. Yeah. But when you're with a smaller group of creators that specifically, hang out a lot on stream and do stuff, you become easier targets so they can monitor what you're doing. So it kind of has to go the other way of seeing, well, who's late on the other end, so that there's a comparison.
Yeah. And the truth is, a lot of people in Comicsgate, they're learning as they go, and it's unfortunate that there's some people I know people who they're trying their best, but they had artists quit on them, they had colorists quit on them, but that's why transparency and updating your backers is the most important thing. And at the end of the day, the backers who actually gave their money to back your campaign, they have the final say on how happy they are. So that rating system, I think, is a really good idea, because if something like what happened with Cash Grab was super late, but that was completely out of Cecil's control. His money was held up because of a legal issue. And now that the backers know, I don't think anybody faults him for that, because that was actually out of his control.
But that's a story everywhere. But they just try to, they have, there's select outrage, right?
Yeah, and the vast majority of CG books have fulfilled. They're on time. It's a completely bogus narrative, but having that will push back on that, and it'll also make us independent.
Transparency is the only thing, and it's there. It's a record on the internet. They can go to any campaign, they can see the updates and whatever. As long as you're a backer, as long as you have the transparency, and show pictures, right? Show pictures, show progress, even if it's small. Show them another page is done, but always once a month at minimum, you have to have an update. And if it's a similar rhetoric in each one, then just let them know you're there still.
Sure.
And as long as you're doing that, you have a receipt. You got your checks and balances.
I update every Monday.
Yeah, you do.
This past Monday, my update was pretty much I got nothing done that week because but I was honest. I mean, I had launched Joe Frankenstein, and so I was building that campaign, getting ready to launch. I had a convention in Dallas. I came back with the con crud, so I was sick for a couple of days. So I didn't get much done. My colorist did. He sent in a bunch of pages. So progress still gets made, information still gets imparted, and the backers know that the train is still on the tracks. And that's the key to everything.
The wheels are in motion.
Not every day is going to, not every week is going to be this gigantic, I got 10 pages done. That's just not how it works. There's other things that happen, but they want to know that work is being done, that you're doing it,
Yeah.
Well, another thing that people have to understand is that, and it's been like this with all self-publishers. I've been self-publishing for almost 30 years now. Same thing that, Brian Pulido has gone through, Terry Moore has gone through, Jeff Smith. And now with this campaign is that what you're learning, Graham, is that was, big time, mainstream artists, for the most part, you're just plotting or you're scripting and just penciling, right? Maybe inking. You're just doing the art stuff for the most part. Now, when the art department is working, the marketing department isn't working.
Yeah.
When the editorial department's working, the fulfillment department's not working. There's
when
only
the marketing guy is streaming, the artist is drawing.
That's right. And we got another super chat, and then we're going to take a 45-second break. It's our new part of the show. It's going to be Billy's joke of the day. But let's do this. Thank you, Alex. Again, thank you so much. I say this often because it's true, but there is vastly more talent in CG than all of the mainstream combined. Case in point, this very stream. Come on. Rini and Graham and Chris. See that? People love you. You're
Billy and Graham. Oh, Billy.
Yes. So thank you for that $5 super chat. But right now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this joke real quick. I know now that we had that thing you want to address, but let's just tell this little joke. Here we go. I'm going to share it. Give me a second. Hang on. I got to move over so I can see our StreamYard. Let's go big with it or go home. Right? Here we go. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this joke, and Rini, I apologize in advance.
Oh, okay.
Penguin takes his car into the shop, and the mechanic says he needs an hour to check it out.
What kind of car?
A damn Penguin car, all right? Anyway, he goes across the street to 7-Eleven to kill some time and get an ice cream. Penguins love ice cream.
Really?
Sure. But because he's got no hands, the poor little guy gets the ice cream all over his beak.
It's going somewhere.
So he goes back to the mechanic. The guy tells him, looks like it blew a seal. The Penguin tells him, no, that's just a little ice cream.
I got it. Oh, my innocent ears. Oh.
You know what? The scary thing is, I watched Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp.
What?
Yeah.
You don't remember Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing. They had the chimps, and they're doing their shit, talking and.
Yeah.
Ellie Munez, I don't get it. Explain.
Looks like you blew a seal. No, it's just a little ice cream.
Hey, I got a joke I heard. What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball?
What?
What?
Oh,
That's better than the monkeys.
By the way, those aren't technically dad jokes, by the way.
No.
No, I wouldn't think that.
No, I hope not.
This is late, but
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Graham, I just had to say one thing for you telling that joke, and I apologize, but you deserve it.
Oh.
Nice. Anyway, now back to the task at hand. All right, let's talk some stuff. I just totally killed the whole.
You just derailed it.
I derailed everything. That was great conversation.
I think Billy's joke
Somebody had a
of the
question
week
about
is going off
gatekeeping.
the rail.
Chad had some questions. Let's go back to that.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat asking if our site's going to have gatekeeping, and we won't have gatekeeping, but we will review campaigns.
Yeah,
because I don't want like some pedophile fantasy book going on there. I mean, there's certain things that you just got to be careful of. But
man has standards.
General gatekeeping, we're not going to have none of that stuff.
What will the subject came up about if a bunch of people did start complaining, or they said, hey, these guys are terrorists, or hey, these guys, that's a book about pedophilia and you just don't know it, or whatever. I assume you might have a process where you kind of reach out to the creator and say, do you have a response for this? Can you kind of diffuse this or whatever?
Yeah, so if something came up like that, then we would, okay, if someone ever said there was concerns and, Chris's book has this and that in it, we'll review the book. We're not going to affect the campaign. We won't take anything down. Nothing's going to shadow ban it. You have every right to sell it in case there's a discrepancy of any kind. But again, if we don't see anything there, then you're not going to
because sometimes these books aren't done.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's true.
Can I respond to Fritzy Schnitzel?
Yeah.
Sure. Where is that? Where's Fritzy Schnitzel? You see him
asking about
anywhere?
updating the channels.
Scal, you see Fritzy's
yeah,
listen,
just because while the editing team is working, the marketing social media guys not. We just have those channels claimed. I don't think we've updated Facebook in months. We're pretty much on Twitter, and that's about it. And the website. Just go to the website. You can share us on YouTube and Facebook. We give you permission to EFAP every article you find. So that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, and to do that, I'd like to share the website for everyone out there. If you've been living under a rock for the past 9 months or 9 years or so, but Bleeding Fool, great website. This is Mel Brooks's 4th highest ranked film.
Yeah, I think it's his first, but David's got a point. David's got them all ranked, and he's got his opinions. We'll just say
what's is Young Frankenstein? That's got to be the best.
Young Frankenstein's higher. Yeah, we haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I love Young Frankenstein, but I love Silent Movie.
Yeah, that was number 5. Silent Movie was number 5. We get a lot of. Go ahead.
The Hitchcock one.
High Anxiety.
High Anxiety. I like that one.
He ranked that the worst.
Really? Oh, no, the worst is Spaceballs.
He gave that number 8. Yeah.
I love Spaceballs.
Oh, God, it was so – that Men in Tights, I didn't like – he was getting so stale.
Yeah.
I thought the time of
Spaceballs was so far removed from Star Wars at that point. It was like
I think that's why
didn't have any of his core
Men in Tights
actors
did better, because that was beyond Mel Brooks's comprehension. He wasn't into Star Wars by that time.
Well, plus he had already done Men in Tights because he did the TV show When Things Were Rotten.
Oh, that's right.
And that was basically Men in Tights ahead
of
time.
Deep cut, man. Good point.
Yeah, with
Billy does Men in Tights.
Thank you.
Well,
another non-dad joke. That's good.
Yeah, another non-dad joke. I think I'm going to end the show with a non-dad joke then.
Oh, good.
because I really derailed the whole damn show.
Hey, quick plug for Indie Comics Showcase every Wednesday. If you are crowdfunding, since that's what we're talking about, and you're not Billy Tucci, and you're not Rini, you're not Graham, you don't have a huge YouTube following channel already. You're just kind of small, and you're just trying to raise $1,000, or it doesn't matter how big your campaign is. At the end of each article, there's a place you can click and just enter your own campaign, and we feature 3 campaigns every Wednesday for New Comic Book Day.
Oh, excellent. They can be
Amazon, they can be we won't do Crowdfunder. The new rule is if you're on Crowdfunder, we're not going to let you put your book up there. You're going to have to give us another link.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Well, I told him that. That's another thing that was missing in that first interview is I said, look, I run Bleeding Fool. I said, if you guys are not going to let Mike Barron back on and you're going to treat Comicsgate this way, we're not going to promote you. We will never let another campaign show up on our weekly comic showcase. And I'm not acting like we're some big deal. We're only big enough that Rich Johnston has reached out to me and hasn't shut us down, right? That's a whole nother story. I'll share you the origin story of Bleeding Fool one day if I'm ever invited back on.
Damn, I'd like to hear that now.
See you next week.
You got to have you come back on now.
Maybe.
I say you go on Crowdfunder and you crowdfund the graphic novel story of you and Rich Johnston.
Ooh. Battle Royale.
Everybody.
I think, wouldn't it be great if we could get Rich Johnston and me at a convention talking about our approaches to media?
What a fantastic panel that would be.
Hey, let me tell you a fantastic panel that almost happened out in Colorado. Mike Barron was going to be on a panel with Jerry Conway.
Yeah, I
talking about the Punisher. And guess what happened?
What happened?
Suddenly, Jerry Conway was ill.
Oh, of course.
Wow.
Didn't stop him from dragging Mike's name through the mud when that Daily Cause article came out.
Yeah.
What a douche nozzle. No offense, Rini.
And now I think he really.
Oh, no. They are douche nozzles and cowards. All of these people are cowards.
Yeah.
And the pisser is, I love Jerry Conway.
Yeah, me too.
When I was growing up, he wrote so many great stories when I was reading comics. I mean, he was the main writer on the Fantastic Four, the Amazing Spider-Man. He wrote Thor. He wrote all those. The Hulk. I mean, he wrote all these great characters, which I really liked, and particularly liked his FF and Spidey stories.
Yeah.
Now when I reread them, I'm like, that's so great. But as a kid, they resonated with me, and it's just a shame to see him so locked into some type of ideology that
It's like reading Stephen King tweets now. It's just
yeah.
It's painful. It's a shame.
The thing about being conservative or libertarian is that if you went through your life the same way leftists do, you would not be able to enjoy anything. I couldn't enjoy music. I love the Beatles. I love Jimmy Buffett. I love Frank Sinatra. All of them Democrats.
Yeah.
And the Beatles, progressive leftists, I mean, come on. But I love their music.
Yeah.
Same thing with writers. Same thing with movie actors and stuff. I mean, Kirk Douglas, Burt Lancaster, all leftists, but I like them in their movies,
Not Charlton Heston, not Clint Eastwood, not Kelsey Grammer. I mean, there are,
Yeah. Well, I love all them, and of course, the king for me is John Wayne.
Now the Duke,
the Duke,
real deal.
Yeah,
there's plenty of them. Bruce Willis, Mel Gibson. We could go on, but I think the difference is that leftists really like to complain and bitch and play victim, whereas I think conservatives, we don't want to do that. I mean, honestly, and I've said this to my wife several times, and people at church or whatever. If we had a complaining marathon, I could complain and complain and complain, and then maybe tag somebody in and say, "Can you complain for a little while? Give me a break." And then they might complain and give me some more things to complain about. I mean, honestly, we could all complain and bitch and moan about stuff, from your knee hurting to the bills being too high, or the lines being too long, or the bank customer service line taking forever. I mean, but you can't do that. You can't go through life bitching, moaning, and being a victim. And I think the thing about being a conservative and independent and libertarian, because I embrace all of things. I love America, what it stands for.
Here, here.
I want the government. I want to stay out of my refrigerator, my bedroom, my backyard, my kids' education,
my gas stove,
health, all of it. Yeah. I'll pay taxes to pay for the roads and defense and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could go on and on, but I want to embrace what's good, and I want to feature what's good, and I want to push what's good, and I want to encourage what's good. I want to encourage virtue, not virtue signaling, because that's like saying, hey, look, I just gave to this homeless person, or hey, look, I just tithed more than 10%. You don't do that. You just do. You don't brag about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am on this spectrum of conservative American.
Yeah, we got a couple super chats. I just don't want to forget them. We got Bob Gable. Will you watch History of the World Part 2?
No freaking way.
Nope.
No, no interest whatsoever.
And then H is for heretic.
He already
that is heretical.
Money.
That's heretical. Listen, you can go check out all of David's ranked Mel Brooks films. Just go to that article. The link's at the top.
Thank you guys for the super chats.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it was, in the order of greatness, you had Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Silent Movie, High Anxiety, and after those four, they started to go off the rails. Those four.
Life Stinks was terrible. Yeah, all of them have got a little something, but it's almost like it's not as inspired, or there's just not as much meat on the bone. You know,
or they don't have that core acting comedic group, the Harvey Kormans, the Madeline Kahns, the Dom DeLuise's, you can name them, that were all in those first four movies that I just named, and then you get to Spaceballs and you get nobody.
Yeah.
That's in
History of the World Part 1 had some moments.
History of the World Part 1 was fun.
John Candy.
Yeah. Well,
and hey, Dave Chappelle was in Men in Tights, but it looked like he was bored to tears the whole time.
Yeah.
One of my favorites in History of the World as an artist was when he's in the cave and you got the cavemen, you got the guy drawing the gazelle on the cave wall, and he talks about how it gave the artist gave rise to the critic. And then you see this guy standing there looking at the art, and he's got the bear skin on him like that, and he's looking at it like this. Then he lifts the bear skin up, and then you see the piss coming out, and he pisses on the guy's art.
Yeah.
and the artist is like this. The artist is like
great.
this.
Yeah, that's a great moment. Yeah, there's all of them have a little bit of that, but you're right. Silent Movie, Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs had its moments, but guys, check it out. Thanks again for inviting me. This has been a real honor and a pleasure.
We appreciate it. We're going to show a little bit of campaigns, and then we're gonna
let's grab
let everyone go.
Let's grab this last super chat right here.
One more super chat.
Evil One, thank you. $5 super chat. CG really helped my mental health and gave me an outlet to voice my true opinion online and found new friends in the industry. Hail fam, love you guys.
Thank you for your support. I think a lot of people feel that way too, and I kind of, I was gathering my thoughts about, what Graham and Chris were saying earlier, but it's so strange that the only people in our current culture who are saying, well, we won't support you unless you agree with us 100%, that are trying to restrict speech, that are being moral busybodies and bothering other people about their opinions, and not in like a debate kind of way, but as I'm going to lie to your boss about you and try to ruin your life kind of way. That's not the people on, not even normal liberals, not libertarian, not conservatives. It's an extreme far left part of politics, and they are a tiny minority, but unfortunately they have the control and the power. And it's so strange that they're saying that people like us who are willing to stand up to that and speak out and point out what they're doing, we're the extremists, when we're just trying to give people an outlet to be free. We're not the people canceling creators. We're not saying, well, you shouldn't support somebody. I mean, crowdfunding is a different issue because they directly persecuted us. But I don't care. I'll still buy books from people who are liberal. I have a lot of friends who are liberal. That's not an issue for us. We're about freedom of creation. And it, even with the platform that it looks like you guys are building, is it like a Comicsgate only website? It's a free website as long as you're not going around lying about
it's for the love of comic books, and we're going to give a platform to anyone who wants to do it. Everyone deserves an audience. Everyone deserves an audience, and no one should be shitting on anyone's audience. And if you don't like it, don't back it. Just
that's what I loved about Comicsgate, and that's what I loved about all the people here, because we're putting the craft first and comics first, and it's not all about politics. And that sets so many people free, and that's helped so many people with their mental health, helped creators who would never have had a chance in the mainstream achieve their dreams. And that's why I'm personally not going to back down. I don't care what they say about us, what lies they say, because I think what we're doing here is helping people. And so thank you for your support, Evil One. You're awesome.
Yes, thank you guys. Yeah, Niall and I, we're coming on our fourth anniversary. We've done almost 600 shows.
Over.
Like 640, right?
Well, it's like 620, 30 something.
Yeah, and at least 500 of those shows were supporting independent creators.
That's amazing.
We had CG, non-CG. It was about the love of the craft. That's what it was about, and we got people talking good stuff.
Yep. And
there it is
of campaigns. Everyone's favorite, Rini. Look at you kicking ass, young lady. 157, so close to $158,000.
Hey.
Oh, went up against this yesterday. Yay, thank you guys so much.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm totally shocked and very flattered that we're still going up almost at least every day or two. We still get a backer. This is like some 6 months into the campaign. So thank you everybody for your support. If you haven't seen Fiendish yet, this is the second installment in my fantasy mystery series. Fiendish follows the story of Casimir, my main character, who's the light-haired guy on the not her. She's Ragna. People really like her.
Black bars.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. It's just this glitch that happened when I uploaded it. It's strange.
Our site won't have those either, by the way.
Oh, awesome!
You don't have to censor your images.
That's good to hear. I have no idea what happened there. But Fiendish is a story about Casimir and his search for.
Yeah,
that is Dan Lawless. Yeah.
Man, that's
going to be a free mini print that goes to everybody. So because I have no self-control, half my stretch goals are just giving you guys more free stuff. So everybody's getting 2 free mini prints at this point, and like a sticker and a bunch of other stuff. So but the story follows Casimir as he's searching for the truth behind the demons that destroyed his hometown and killed his family long ago. And if you're really into action and fantasy and heavy world building, then this is the comic for you. You will not be disappointed. This is a 70-page book, 70 story pages with a bunch of extra content in the back. And I also want to say,
No, look how gorgeous it is.
Yeah, thank you. Great. I spent so much time with art. I have to say, I'm very proud of how the art is turning out. I think book 1 had a really positive. The readers really liked it, but I know that my art has gotten better with book 2, and I'm improving every day. I'm going to give you guys the best product possible. So I've sent this to people already. Like everybody who works on the campaign, I sent a PDF. I started doing the lettering first, and it's I have a proper editor now. I'm like taking the scripting like super seriously. So you guys are gonna love it. I can't say too much because I'll spoil it. But
beautiful.
When is fulfillment, Rini?
Huh?
When is fulfillment on that?
June. It should be June.
Oh, it's
June
coming up.
early.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So everybody get on there, man. It's you back this today. You're going to be getting this in a couple months.
You go, girl. Look at all these stretch goals unlocked. Look at all this free swag you guys get.
Come on. Much swag.
Man.
So great. So much swag.
You're so close to the 155.
No, 155 is already passed. I need to update that. We're past it. I need to update the stretch goals right there. So we were like sitting at 153 for a while, then just shot up. So
man,
thank you guys
how exciting!
For support.
Oh my gosh,
great for you. No, well deserved, Rini. You're an incredible talent. And everyone loves you, and you're out there to help everyone. You're all on everyone's streams. You're like a breath of fresh air and just pure sunshine when you
effervescent.
You guys are a breath of fresh air in my soul.
And we got another campaign I'd like to highlight before we go. Well, gee whiz, let's go. It took me a while to find this one, I got to say, but I did find it. Graham Nolan's Joe Frankenstein.
There it is.
Why? Why did it take you a long time to find it? This one's
I don't know.
not
I
Shadow
couldn't
Band.
find it anywhere.
No, it's not. Graham,
Not
is it
yet.
not Shadow Band?
Not yet.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, you're not Shadow Band?
Not this one.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Don't
not
jinx it,
yet,
Phil.
right? Look
But
at
this is let's throw your it's
yeah.
a new campaign. You got 22 days left, 901 backers. You've crossed the $50,000 mark. Well done, brother.
Slightly
And,
over a week.
It's only over a week.
Yeah, a week yesterday.
Yeah, incredible. In 1 week. This
Dude,
has got
that's
to be
awesome.
this has got to be your fastest climbing campaign, correct?
I think so. I haven't
think
checked
so,
the
well.
stats, but I would think.
Let's watch this badass video.
Particularly because there's no tchotchkes. It's all books.
Yep. Sorry, let's start over.
No, sorry.
Excellent.
The monsters of our nightmares are real.
Outstanding, brother. You're going all old school with this, huh? No tchotchkes.
No, this is a down and dirty campaign. It's 30 days, no in demand. It
And this book is
down-
completely done, isn't it?
Shuts down at the end of March because I plan to fulfill by June.
Oh, nice.
Well done, guys. The link is in the description as well. Same with Reni's campaign. Let's go one more time. We're going to go to Mr. Brawley right here, and let's see if I got it here.
Oh, you're muted.
It's current.
We're fulfilling next month.
Private American is fulfilling next month.
We hope so. We're at the printer right now.
Oh,
nice.
that's so soon. Yeah.
You're coming on 1,500 backers. You're closing on $75,000. Please, let's help two of the nicest guys in comics.
Come on.
Some of the good guys, two outlaws. I mean, we're all outlaws, but you guys are like uber outlaws. Man.
This should be a six-figure campaign, folks.
I wish it was.
This thing ended in November. This should be a six-figure campaign.
Yes, it should.
It's got superheroes and monsters, man. You know, it just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
but
Chris, the thing is, what you're going to learn, Chris, is that once you start going in, you're in demand. Once you start fulfilling, well, I've learned this. Graham, I don't know if you've done this. I get a nice spike in fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's because now people see that they can order on demand, sort of like CG Now. You know that these books are ready. They see them coming out. I was going to say reviews, but I don't know. Not a lot of people reviewing our book, even if because I'm sure that they get it and they want to review it. They want them to suck. And then they're like, wow, this is really good. I can't review this. I can't give a positive review to this. But once people start showing on social media that they have their books, once you start sharing it, that, the books are in, we're packing them up, we're having some drinks and we're packing books up, you're going to get another spike. And this campaign will do six figures.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, it'd be nice. That video is a little bit of a controversial, I think, but we're ready for our next campaign. I can't wait to mention it.
Oh, sorry. I want to hear.
America's southern border has become a war zone.
That's my
human
voice, by the way.
traffickers, drug smugglers, and terrorists
What's that, Graham?
That's my voice, by the way.
I was just saying.
That's right. Yeah,
flow
that's
across
That's
the
after
Rio
a burger.
Grande with impunity, secure in the knowledge that no one will stop them. A distant federal government lectures Americans on their privilege while punishing overworked border patrol agents who were helpless to stem the tidal wave of invaders and determined migrants. Second-generation Cuban-American Marcos Zamora is a military vet, more patriotic than most Americans. No longer able to ignore the chaos at his doorstep, he acts. Joined by his best friend Gus, they hit the border every night, saving lives while stopping violent drug cartels and other opportunists. The government reacts with fury at Marco's attempts to preserve American sovereignty, deploying the full might of their enforcement agencies. But Marcos understands that the only thing the rich and powerful fear is bad publicity, and he records every encounter. Whoever he is, this private American must be stopped. Illustrated by Richard Bonk and written by Eisner winner Mike Barron, Private American is his version of Captain America, and maybe a little Punisher, taking part in this ongoing, violent, and very real battle of good versus evil in the war for American sovereignty. Grab your copy at theprivateamerican.com.
We have a secure border, and that is a priority for our administration.
Sure.
Booyah.
Yeah. Great video.
Yeah, that's such a good video.
Great
Kamala,
team.
she helped us out there at the end, didn't she? Kamala.
Yeah, I do too.
Good old honest Kamala.
Yeah, guys, but please check it out. I mean, we got Chris's campaign with two great creators on it leading the charge. And this is a book that's got to get out there. This really is.
Steranko calls it important. So, I mean, you got to get a piece of this, right? And we're fulfilling next month. So get that order in. And Richard Bonk, have you ever seen a comic artist with a name that's a sound effect? I mean,
I was going to say it, but it's a great name.
Yeah. Bonk. And now listen, Mike's third book that we're working on together, the next one coming up, I'm not going to announce it yet, but it's with Pat Broderick. And it is also a law enforcement book, but it's a lot closer to Mr. Nolan's area of expertise, or at least where he's been, the area of the woods he's been playing in. So we're very excited about
Nolan territory here.
I know this one. This is good. I've seen pages from this. It's great.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to use that same voiceover guy. I think it's perfectly appropriate.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're all going to use this voiceover guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's great.
Yeah.
I'd like to share, if I may, I have two campaigns currently running. It's actually the same book. One is on Indiegogo and the other is on the Kickstarter campaign. But it's our little zombie comic that could, Zombie Sama Dorm of the Dead. We're at, well, let me refresh this. I don't know where we're at, if we change from here. 19,200.
Oh, all right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Drinking it. Drinking at 20.
Yeah, we're getting so close. Thank you guys. This campaign's been open a little over a week. We are closing in on $20,000. Once we hit that, we're going to announce, I guess tomorrow, we're going to announce our next stretch goal, and I'll let you all know what it is. The next stretch goal is everyone who backs this book and gets I guess for a physical copy or maybe digital. We'll see. I guess everyone who backs it is going to get Zombie Sama, the 56-page Zombie Sama 1 digital for free. Everyone's gonna get a free copy of the book,
Nice.
so you can you could read the book, and but that's our next our first stretch goal. And again, as I do, thank you so much. But guys, if you guys could please help this, like we've all put a lot of work into this book. This book is 104 pages. All the black and white artwork is done. All of the lettering is complete. As is 75% of the colors. So we are almost on page 80 of the colors, which Sean Callahan is doing, and he is just killing it. And we've got
that ends in 18 days, Billy. So when do you plan fulfilling that? Because everything
May.
This
book is going. Wow. The colors are due on the 15th of March, and then I guess on that Monday is when we send the book to the printer.
That's fantastic.
So,
back this, guys, because you back it now, man. It's going to be in your mailbox before your check clears, practically.
Yes,
Randy backed it on.
This book will definitely be This book will definitely be at the printer before the campaign ends. So we're all excited. Next book, because we got to make way for the Shi Senryaku omnibus, which launches in May. Yes. So we will be fulfilling this book. And again, thank you all. Rini did an incredible.
It's money.
That's money right there.
It is.
I love the
I'm glad you
perspective of
like
the
it.
zombie's head right there. Right?
Awesome.
I love the cut.
What
into the
inspired you to make this cover, Ray?
So I didn't even realize I was paying homage to this, but it was a hard-boiled cover of him shooting through that guy's head with the hole.
Yep.
And so I just remember I was a big fan of Jeff Darrow, but that's what I was subconsciously thinking of, but didn't realize until later. But
You
yeah,
make
everybody likes it. Yay!
I think you make Jeff proud. Sure.
Yeah, he would order this cover.
Oh,
Yeah.
He absolutely would. It is just gorgeous. You just blew me away, even in the little rough that you did. So I'm really honored, and thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me draw Gore, because I remember I sent Billy a couple of layouts, and I was like, both of them had the mouth in the foreground. I was like, it's a little gory. I know Indiegogo's weird. Are you okay with it? He's like, go for it. I was like, yes, finally.
Go Gore, go home.
Yeah.
And we got my buddy Dan Mendoza of Zombie Tramp fame.
Oh,
he's
wow.
a huge ally of us. Look at this. He's got his zombified sex cheerleader shot with a stake through the heart. And that's our other variant cover. Of course, this is our Indiegogo exclusive by John Brolia. Is taken off of the famous Vault of Horror number 15 from 1950.
Classic.
Great, just great cover. And there's my hardcover edition that we do a hardcover every time. And there's a lot of cool stretch goals. Yeah, Winter Soldier, another great book. And She Crasher Ash Can. We're also offering. This is Chris is my very first inception of She right here.
Wow.
Her name was Gate Ketta. And I drew her first, and I did it in, I think, 1990. I designed her. So you can see it's very late 80s Marvel, sort of thing. And then she kind of evolved, obviously, into the She everyone knows today.
Got a bit of a Nagel appearance.
Oh, you totally do. Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
100%.
Totally. It's great.
So thank you guys for that. And then I'm going to, I just want to share that to let you guys also know that we are on Kickstarter. And I haven't checked that one.
Not shadow banned anywhere?
No, we're not. Yeah, so here we are.
Yeah, another 10K.
Yep, we're over $10,000. We launched last night. So we're in our first 24 hours. We're already over $10,000, 100 backers. Again, guys, thank you so much. A great campaign, fun book. Niall Scala made this awesome trailer. Play that, and then we'll say goodbye. So hang on.
Full screen it.
Yes, sir. Great art by John Brolia, my partner. A lot of humor, a lot of violence.
How do you guys get away with using the music?
Workarounds?
I'll tell you when it's done.
Yeah.
Me and my kilt. Like Scott.
So classy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
So please, if you guys could back it, and some people have backed it on both. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. We're having a lot of fun with this book. This book is going to the printer this month in March, and we just launched this last night. So you guys will start fulfilling in April, actually. We just got to get them damn printers to print those books faster.
Yeah.
It's driving me up the wall.
Can you say who your printer is?
I don't know who our printer is. Debbie does that.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's
And he's not lying.
Okay.
That's the funny part.
That is the funny part. Yeah.
What I just noticed there, that reminds me a lot of Franco Villa's Archie run.
Yeah.
That he did. Except that looks a lot more fun. And they never finished that zombie story, I don't think. They only got through issue 11. That looks fantastic.
Yeah, John's a true cartoonist, and he's just brilliant. I just love the kid. He's probably like he's in his late 30s now, but he was a kid when I first met him 25 years ago or so.
great.
But again, guys, Chris is the amazing website, Bleeding Fool, an ally to us all. Again, an outlaw news news site, not afraid to I guess to publish the unwanted, the unseen.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anybody knows, we did the whole Whisper Network a couple of years ago where we sort of outed all the ladies in comics that were trashing men behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And screwing up their deals. But, we only get scoops like that every so often. And
yeah. It's almost like exposing this, believe it or not, well, whether we like it or not, there really is a caste system in comics.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Well, Comicsgate is the new punk. Comicsgate, I think, is the new punk rock, and we are the gate crashers. I think. I think you've got something.
Yeah, that's the
going
book,
on
She
here, Billy.
Gate Crasher, and that's gonna have a lot to do with all this stuff too.
I think so.
Gonna be dressed in that
nice.
stuff.
Yeah, that's why they don't like us. We're challenging their power. But
nobody liked
gotta
punk
tell
either.
Gotta tell it like it is. Yeah, you gotta tell it like it is.
We're making good stuff. We're making good stuff.
We sure are.
Worse than challenging them, we're creating stuff without them.
That's right. They don't like
without
that
their
either.
approval.
Yeah.
They don't have control, and that's what they don't.
They don't. We're uncancelable.
Yeah, that's right.
Really, and because we don't give them anyone any reason to cancel us. You got these weirdos in nut jobs living in their basements.
Mom's
How
basement.
sad is it that they have to lie to cancel us? They have to lie that we're racist. They have to lie that we never fulfill our books. That's the only way they can attack us. So let's just keep that in mind. We're going to win this.
These are people that live miserable lives. Let's face it. They're unhappy. They've got this career. They're not digging ditches and coal mines. They're sitting writing and drawing funny books, and they're miserable. How can you be like that? Here you got this talent, you got this dream job, you get to express yourself, you get to make people happy with your work. If you decide to write that kind of stuff instead of these polemics, you've got it all by the balls, and yet you're miserable. It's like,
yeah.
And that's why you guys are happier. You know why these creators are happier than those creators is that these creators are creating their own stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You own this IP. Yep. You're not drawing gay Tim Drake Robin and sticking your polemics in there and your lectures in there or whatever you're drawing. I don't care.
Well, we're just enjoying the craft. We don't feel pressure to push some agenda on. When you're an activist and that's your entire identity and your activism takes place over your creativity, I think maybe there are some actual creative souls that are trapped in the mainstream and they've been pumped full of this ideology. They're miserable. That's what ideology does to you. You can't even be in touch with your craft and just have fun with people anymore. You're like, you constantly have to have problem lenses on. So, man, these people need to loosen up and just stop bothering us and enjoy the craft.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, comics is an art form, and there's nothing off limits in an art form. You can tell any kind of story you want. If you want to tell polemics, if you want to tell these things, that's fine. Great. Find your audience, express yourself, and stand and live and die by your product.
But don't come trash my product.
Yeah, don't come trash my product. And what we're talking about with mainstream stuff is you're bringing this stuff into characters that were created by other people, and you're destroying them by adding your own shit to it. Create your own. That's fine. If you want to do a gay cowboy, you don't do Rawhide Kid and ruin the creation of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. You create your own gay cowboy and do it that way. And fine. And if it finds an audience and it's this wonderful satire, which is what they kind of went for there, fantastic. But you don't destroy something that already exists.
Right.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Here, yeah.
Agreed. Here.
And they hate us because they ain't us. The anus?
Right.
The anus? I think there's a hole in that theory.
I think that theory stinks.
Was that the non-dad joke we were going to end this on?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think so. So, guys, we thank you all. Again, Rini, thank you for, coming back on. Again, my brother, Graham Nolan. My compadre, Niall Scala. And, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Brawley. Thank you. Thank you, my friend, for coming on. We would love for you guys to come back on Thursday Night Live with Billy Tucci or any other Pop XP shows. Chris, once you guys start fulfillment, that might also be a fun time for you to come back in on. Maybe you and Mike. Maybe
we'll drag Mike on. Yeah, maybe.
We'll do the show at like 10:30 in the morning, I guess.
We'll pre-record Mike.
Well, yeah.
Just say a bunch of curmudgeonly things, Mike, and we'll just play it back.
You got 15 minutes with them, so get it in quick.
Yeah. So thank you, guys. There are links in the descriptions for all of our creators here. And thanks a million. Niall, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
This
and thanks
was a
for the
great
chat, and thanks for the super chats, everyone.
Thank
Help
you
support
all.
the channel.
Great
Thanks
opening
for having me
design,
on, and thanks, Chad.
Yes, great job with that too. Thank you. Now, thanks, Chris. Bye, Rini. We
Thanks,
love
everybody.
you. Love you
Bye.
guys. Thank you all
Love
out
you
there
guys.
for
Bye.
salute. Now, you want to hit the
Hey
brand?
everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.